Hello everyone, and welcome to another video made by a foamer that likes Trona. On two separate occasions we will see trains around Vernon, California, mainly LAJ, but a few things around San Pedro Junction. First we will see the BNSF Malibar job with BNSF 188, a former ATSF blue bonnet trailing. We see them pull out of A yard and head for Commerce. After Malibar cleared, there was nothing running.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell, man.
Stuff was idling in A yard without a crew, but that was it. So we drove around in circles for an hour, hunting for this train at the various industries it works. Eventually we gave up and went to San Pedro Junction. Anyway, here's a metro stink. The next train would be the H-Bar Watt with an ace. Lovely EMD. Next is Amtrak with the horrible 2116. That horn is awful. Surprise, 9225 was trailing. After that, I saw the very tops of locomotives from where I was standing on the LAJ side, so I booked it over there to see, at my surprise, BNSF 3119, the only BN green unit that ever spends any time in SoCal.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
They switched tar-grade biodiesel off Bandini for a bit before proceeding down to some random industry. They blare the horn as they cross Bandini because that crossing has no gates, and because it's LA, there are a ton of idiots drivers. Alright, now that you've seen the clip once, let's play a fun game called Count the Idiots. And if you can't count the idiots, you're a part of the problem. Next time we're over at LAJ, we're at a yard where we are treated to a 3-unit Y-VRN2271 and 3119 sitting offline.
Oh my God! Oh! No way! No way! There's actually no way! What? What? This is a moment in history! Take a picture!
I don't know exactly how rare this is for 2271 to have 3 units rather than normal 2, but every single video I've seen of 2271 has had 2 units and they've both been GP50s, especially considering the second one is a GP60M. Once they finished up switching a yard, they headed over to Targrave Biodiesel. We'll see them switch, and about every single time they pull out of the industry, they cross the crossing, and we hear BNSF 3170's dying elephant of a horn. Is it an RS3L or an RS3K? I actually can't tell. Next we see 2271 backing over District Boulevard with great M bells, and we see them backing towards the setting sun. Next we see them switching General Mills in the setting sun. 3170 yet again blares its dying Elephant Leslie a couple more times. If anyone wonders how our serial gets to them, here's one of the ways. Why did I stop the video? Look right there. Must have been a good day to be a squirrel in Vernon. The last train we would see of this Foamer trip is the BNSF H-Barvern. We saw it at Atlantic Boulevard with M-Bells and a BNSF Warbonnet with 3189, returning to LAJ. Great days of foaming. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I hope I cure your boredom for 20 minutes. 2005, out.